Welcome back, everybody. This is Brothermutant here. Today we're going to continue on our quest to find the perfect Eldritch Scion build, which doesn't exist, but we are going to start our comparison builds. These are the Arcane builds, and before we start, a big thank you to everybody who subscribed so far. It's 150 subscriptions on my channel. Never thought I'd actually get that high. It's not a million, I understand that, but we'll get there. I'm not worried about it. But for those of you that just tuned in, feel free to stay with us because we're going to do several videos that are the Arcane Bloodlines, direct comparisons to the other bloodlines that we've made videos for, so feel free to check those out as well. Now, I'm not going to go in any particular order, I'm just going to pick as I feel. But if you guys want to see one, like say you were really enamored with the Serpentine build, or you really like the Abyssal build, feel free to comment down below, let me know which one you'd like me to compare next. I'm actually jumping to the Dragon Disciple build. This is the 10-10 split, and this will be my competitor for it, the Arcane Bloodline build competitor. So what I will do is the best to compare and contrast them, showing you the pros and cons, if you will, of each of the builds as I level it up, but as well as explaining why I think we can hold our own, even though we are not getting all the cool stuff that the Dragon guy is going to get. For instance, we started off with a 17 strength to their 16. That's so I can put a point in it to get to 18, and I know that's not going to equal his 20, but there's a way around that trick as well. Our dexes are the same. Our con will be the same at the start. He will sadly pass me, making it 12, because remember it's a 10-10 split. He gets +4 to strength, +2 to con, and +2 to intelligence. On that, our intelligence start again at the same 12, but then he passes me again up to 14, which means he's going to have more skill points than me. Wisdoms will be the same. His charisma, because he didn't have to invest an extra point in the strength here, he could actually put his charisma to 19 and therefore put 5 points into it straight away and therefore max out his charisma. That's a charisma of 24. Mine, sadly, will only get 4 points and push us from 18 to 22. So we'll be just a little behind on a lot of different categories. I still think we can hold water compared to him. Now, let's actually talk about the lawful evil human pick. Why did I go that way? For one, he was evil. I went human evil as well, because this is the same. Now, you don't have to, and again, I can highly recommend another race for those of you that are interested. Feel free to go Aasimar, and a specific kind of Aasimar. You want the the strength bonus and the charisma bonus one. Now that's, I want to say, Angelkin, +2 to each of those. Now that won't change our stats much. After everything's said and done, we'll still finish with the same numbers, but I think we'll get like probably a +2 to con as a result of that then. So that will help out with some fortitude, some hit points, and of course equal his con. Again, that's nothing wrong with that, so I'm happy with that choice. But from there, know that there's going to be some other differences as well. The Aasimar actually gets 1 less feat, and since this is a feat-heavy build, I will have to show you 2 feats, yes, 2 feats, that you will drop to go Aasimar to make up for it, so that literally, you can still keep Arcane Strike, and of course you're definitely getting Spell Focus Conjuration in this build. So we'll have to push one of these back, probably Arcane Strike if I would be honest. And then from there, why would I say you needed to lose 2 feats? Well, you only lose 1 for going Aasimar, right? Well, yes and no. Yes, you lose 1 here at level 1. No, because at level 10 and up, you have the ability to unlock, as an Aasimar, wings, something that humans don't get, and the Dragon guy did. And if you want those wings, which you probably do, let's face it, a +3 to your dodge melee armor class, as well as immunity to difficult terrain, that's a pretty powerful feat there. So yeah, you're probably going to want to lose another feat as well so you can pick up wings. So I will show you 2 that I will highly suggest in this build that is not necessary. I still will miss it, but you can convince me that if you went Aasimar, it was worth doing. Another reason for going Aasimar is not just the free spell a day you get, which I think in the Angelkin version is lesser restoration, which you're not going solo, so who cares, but it is there and it's free, so save on a potion, cool. The other reason though is because Aasimars get a inherent celestial resistances to elemental damage, and that I want to say it's 5 against acid, cold, and electric, if I remember correctly. And as you'll notice when we start talking about what the Arcane Bloodline gives you, one of the things it doesn't give you is any kind of protection. So if you want to have some cheap early protection, Aasimar might be the way to go here. Now, I'm not going to do that because, again, I'm trying to do my best apples-to-apples comparison between us and the Dragon Disciple 10-10 split build that I've done. But again, you can do as you feel. Now, because he has only 10 levels of Magus for the other guy, and I can't go Dragon Disciple, I'm going True Magus. Now, having said that, on the other builds that I will be doing, if, for example, you'll see, like, I'm going to do, already been planning the Evoker/Electric build that will be the competitor for the Air Elemental build. Now, why? Because, again, electric damage, it makes sense. And again, it's not a common one. Obviously, Evoker Fire would be better, but I wanted to do a comparison again, and the Air Elemental had electric damage. So that's why I'm going to do that. However, the air elemental, if you remember, went 19 Magus and 1 level of monk because it made sense. I will do the same on my build for a comparison. Apples to apples comparison, the best I can do for you, right? So again, as close as I can. Another reason that I'm going a strength-based build. Also for feats, I'm going to try my best to get as many of the same or similar feats that the other guy gets. So this guy was a Cornigan Smash build for the Dragon Disciple. I will get Cornigan Smash. He had Dreadful Carnage. I'll get Dreadful Carnage. He was a Conjurer that focused on acid spells. I'll do the same. Would I do that normally? No, but as a comparison for someone that says, oh, my guy does this. Well, my guy can do it if I did this way. I'm just saying there's the flexibility in the Arcane Bloodline that the others don't really get. And that's what you're going to see here. Because he only went 10 levels in, though, he's missing quite a few things. So he's not going to get any of this concentration bonuses for his concentration checks. He's not going to get his free 6 spells. That really sucks. And that's hidden behind the wall of level 19 spellcaster level. It has nothing to do with 19 levels of Magus. So for those that want a 16-4 split, at level 20 you finish as a caster level 19. You will get those 6 free spells. But again, if I'm comparing it to my build, that was a 10-10 split. He finished with caster level 17. It's okay. He still managed to get himself level 6 spells, which is definitely something. He doesn't get any free spells. There's a thing. However, he got a lot of bang for his buck. Not just the extra con and intelligence. He got a natural armor bonus of +7, an acid breath 5 times a day that does 20d6, and I can't compete with that shit, even on this build. He can turn into Dragonkind 2, the Black Dragon. He has to pick which dragon he is at the beginning, but that's fine. He can turn into Black Dragon as Dragonkind 2, which is a level 7 spell that I don't get, and none of you do either. So, pretty baller, and he can do that twice a day. So he has a lot going for him that, the others don't. The extra bite attack that does acid damage with it, so it's an extra attack around, something that I won't get. And again, there's definite pluses on his side that I just can't compete with. But I have plenty of ways to compete with him when it comes to conjuration and acid spells, and that's what we're doing. So let's actually talk about what the arcane guy actually does. We actually have, at first level, we can pick a familiar. You don't have to. I did. And this is the only other one that can do familiar is the Serpentine, if I remember correctly. They get it at level 3 for free, and it's the Viper guaranteed, which is fine, and I was happy with it, and of course I used it to great effect. I decided to go the same way here because, again, we're going to do the Cornigan Smash intimidation checks. That makes sense to have that bonus to persuasion. And perception bonus besides. Good news is you don't have to have this on because he likes to shut himself off when you take a nap, for instance. So if you forget, it's no big deal. The pet being out or not, you still get the bonus. I don't know if this works for every familiar, but it definitely works for the Viper, so I'd assume it works for most, if not all, of the others. If you don't like a familiar, that's okay too, because they give you another option where you can get an Arcane Bond. What does that mean? That means any one of our spell level slots that we use in a day, we can get back just once. So if I have only level 1 castings at level 1, I can, like, say I use up all my magic missiles or something. And then I'm like, hey, I need another one, and I'm screwed. Oh, you got Arcane Bond. Resummon the level 1 casting of a spell, click, click, and any level 1 spell that I have access to, I can now cast again. Which, of course, could be Magic Missile, could be Shocking Grass, could be Shield Spell, you get the idea. That really means that any spell that you can cast, spell level, that you can cast, you can get back. It's a little different than for the Magus build, the true Magus, the pure Magus, if you will, because they have a similar ability. They use their Arcane points. So the Elder Spool points that we have, they have Arcane points, and their Arcane points can be used to literally resummon multiple spells back in a day. But they have to pick the spell, which again is not that big of a deal, because chances are you know you need it, you click it, it's back, and now you cast it. Well, now let me give you an example where it would be different for us. Let's say at level 3 spell casting, you have all their fireball spells and everything else, by the way, all burnt up. And oh boy, I could finish this guy off if I just had another fireball spell. I'll click my Arcane Bond, level 3 spell, poof, my fireball spell's ready to cast. Someone manages to kill the guy, pure dumb luck, and I don't have to waste my fireball spell. Do I have just a fireball spell? No. I have any level 3 spell back. Remember, you are a spontaneous caster. You don't get spells back, individual spells. You get the whole spell level back. So one spell from level 3 I can now cast. Again, that could be fireball, could be lightning bolt, could be whatever you had picked for level 3. It's basically recharged, if you will. So another spell per day. That's awesome. That is a lot more flexibility than the wizard or the magus that literally says, oh, I want the fireball. Click, I got the fireball. Let me cast it. Oh, he's dead. Okay. Well, I guess I have one fireball spell again, whereas we could have all kinds of utility. Again, differences. So that's kind of nice. From there, they give us this Arcane Bloodline Arcana, particularly interesting. Definite push to make you want to get meta magic, which you probably should have been doing anyway. In fact, I've been kind of lazy on my builds by not putting in at least one meta magic in for at least a feat every so often, but this is a perfect opportunity now to talk about them. If you use a meta magic, a feat, not these extended magic or maximized magic that I've been grabbing, I mean an actual feat where you have to convert the spell to a higher casting level. So you're burning up a higher spell slot to cast a level 1 spell that's been extended, or a level 1 spell that's been empowered, or a level 1 spell that's been maximized. You get the idea. You normally don't get a DC bump for that. They don't cast at the level that they are. You use a spell slot from level 4 if it's been maximized and it was a level 1 spell, but it's still treated as a level 1 spell. In this instance, though, now it gets a +1 at least to the DC. A little bit of help. Not amazing, but it's a nice bump to the DC of the spell. The only meta magic this doesn't work on is Heighten. Why? Because Heighten does this already. That's all it does. And I don't mean to say that in a negative way. Heighten's quite powerful. Take that same level 1 spell. Let's say it's a Ray of Enfeeblement. A nice spell with a DC check to it. A Heightened version, if I can cast 1 through 6 level spells and I have Ray of Enfeeblement on my list, I can make a Heightened version at level 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 just because I have Heightened meta magic. That's huge. And what does that do? It casts it from the level 2 slot and it treats it like it's a level 2 slot, which means that the DC check went up by 1 or 2, 3, 4, or 5. You get the idea. That's huge. Your book will be a massive book with Heightened spell feat. And I think this even works for spells that doesn't have a DC check. So instance, I could cast a level 1 shield spell. There's no DC check to that. But I think Heighten will allow me to make shield spell 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6, which means I have so many castings of shield spell it's retarded. Now, why would you do that? Well, I know that sounds like a joke, but let's say you use up all your level 1 spells, magic missiles and everything else besides. There's some good spells in there that you've used. And someone debuffed me from my shield spell. They did a Dispel magic on me, let's say, stripped it off me. Well, I want that shield spell back. Well, now I got level 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6. As long as I have one of those castings, I can get it back. It's not amazing, but it's there. Same with when you do the extend version. I can take my shield spell and extend it so it's double duration. And remember that's utility in that not only does it last longer, but I also have 2 different sets of castings of it. So again, you'll see that meta magics are quite powerful for this build. I'm not going to go crazy and grab a bunch. I'll get one. I'll tell you which one I'm going to grab when we get there. But it's definitely worth picking up now. For this case, you also get class skill, lore religion or lore nature. I don't particularly care for one or the other, but it's free and you have it. It's a little green check mark. You know, feel free to invest in it if you want, but you don't have enough intelligence really to push it. So I kept with the knowledge because, again, we have at least a little bit of intelligence, and we get knowledge arcana and knowledge world for free. So I'm going to invest in knowledge arcana because, I mean, let's face it, you are an arcane bloodline. What the hell are you doing if you're not learning about the arcane? So it seems a little weird not to invest in that one. And of course, perception and persuasion will be important, as they are in all builds, as you are the team leader, plus the intimidation checks, plus everybody should have perception. And of course, use magic device will be useful for us as well. What other free stuff do they get? Well, besides our spells, we get combat casting adept, a very weird bonus to concentration. Why do I say weird? It levels up, which is one thing. It's early, which is nice because, again, these guys show up down here, and yes, they do stack. So 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 2 more makes 6, plus 2 more make it plus 8. Most people that do true magics would only get the 4. We're getting 8, and then we're getting more besides that. Why? Because if you follow it at level 20, it upgrades to Arcane Apotheosis. And it's not replaced, by the way. That's a lie. It just gets added to the list. So Arcane Apotheosis means you pass your concentration checks without fail. Now, what is that? It's not immunity to acid. We're not resisting paralysis or getting a snake bitch form or a free spell-like ability at level 20. It's kind of a drag. We do, however, never fail our concentration check when we cast a spell. What does that mean? Well, when you cast a spell, if someone's attacking you actively, you still have to do a concentration check to make sure you're not distracted from your spell. You know, basically taking damage and getting slapped around can fuck you up. Not surprising. As such, you can fail your spell concentration check. What does that mean? If you fail the check, you wasted the spell slot. In our case, if it's another wizard or something like that and they fail it, you know, let's say they're casting Fireball. Well, they just wasted that casting a Fireball if they failed their check. If you pass the check, you can continue to cast your spell. So by having a automatic, permanent, whatever success to concentration checks, that means you will never fail that check. That does not mean they can't stop you from casting a spell. If they kill you, guess what? Your spell ain't going off. If they paralyze you, again, your spell's not going off. There's ways for them still to screw you over. But by and large, if you can still cast the spell, you will get that spell off. Is that amazing? No. Is it helpful? Hell yeah. And again, it emphasizes a point here. You really are a caster. Compared to all the other bloodlines, yes, they can cast spells, yes, they can fight too, and many of them are a little bit of both. But you are primarily a caster. If the DC bonus from Meta Magic didn't reinforce that, this sure as hell should. And then, of course, your combat casting adept should really drive that point home as well. They want you to make that check, so your spells are important. Not that the others, again, aren't, but yours are different. Now, what else do you get for free? The last thing you get for free here is your school power. This is a +2 DC to any school focus that you pick. It will stack with spell focus, by the way, and greater spell focus, so you can either be a master of something, which is what we're going for today, or be a dabbler in something else. So I'm going conjure acid and getting school power and conjuration to be really good at conjuration spells as my comparison build for the Dragon Disciple. If I wanted to be an evoker, I could double up on evocation. If I wanted to be the illusion enchantment build, remember that Fey build I just uploaded? This would be a way to get illusion +2, and then I can get spell focus and greater spell focus for enchantment as feats, and be +2 on those, and again, be a little bit of both. Again, up to you how you do it. But I know me, if I have the chance to stack it with something, chances are we're going to stack it up. I have a build specifically for each of the different schools that you want to pick. Do not pick divination. Do not pick abjuration. There's no divination spell that we have access to that has a DC check. There are 1 or 2, at least, in the higher levels, but again, we don't get them. That's level 7, 8, 9 shit. And again, it'd be weird for you to want to pick that, in my opinion. Abjuration may have some in the higher levels. In our build, we only have like 2 spells that are abjuration spells that have DC checks. One you can get as you, I think both you have to get as you get free spells. So like here, 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 or the 6 that you get down here. Is that worth it? Then no, because again, it's only 2, and it's probably not 2 you're going to pick anyway. One maybe. I think it's dismissal or banishment, one of the 2. And then the other one is stunning barrier. It's the one you get at level 1. It's like a +1 to your deflection armor for like 1 round per caster level. It's lame sauce. And when someone hits you with a melee weapon, it discharges and stuns them, hence stunning barrier. There's a DC check for that. Again, lame sauce, who cares? But it's an abjuration, so like I said. So you probably shouldn't pick either of those. Weirdly, they also give you Universalist as a school pick, which is something you should not pick. I thought, hey, you're totally cheated the game. They left that in there. I can be a +2 to all my spells. Yeah, that's a lie. It doesn't work, and it breaks the school power. Doesn't give you anything for it. So definitely don't pick that one. But pick, again, conjuration if you're going to be a conjurer, illusion if you want to be an illusionist, evoker if you want to evoke like crazy. Again, up to you. I have a build for evoker, a transmuter. I'm going to have a necrolord. This is our conjurer build, and we have an illusionist / enchantment build that I'm definitely slapping together to directly compete with the Fae. So again, this is really going to nail home a lot of those DC checks for us. Other than that, let's talk about the spells you get for free. Generic as you can get. I mean, this is CVS level magic, guys. They give you magic missile. You are going to get it anyway, so feel free to, pick something else. That's cool, at least. Yeah, you have to wait till level 3 to get it, but it's at least something you're going to grab. Invisibility, it's okay. I mean, it's not great. I'll grant you, I'd never pick it for free, though. Yeah, at least allows me to put greater invisibility on the back burner for at least a little bit, so that's something. Then they give us Dispel Magic, again, one I don't normally pick, but at least it's there. And again, anyone can pick these spells, so we're not really doing anything unique yet, hence why I say generic. But we get it for free, and then this Dispel Magic does work for dispelling AoE effects. Grease, Sirocco, stuff like that. Doesn't mean it'll work. It'll tell you in the combat log that you failed at least the attempt, or it will pass, of course, and therefore you have the utility there that you don't get from greater invisibility or Dispel Magic. So I don't know what that's about, but yeah. We do get Dimension Door. Now, a little note on this one. It doesn't have a little thumbs down penalty letting you know, hey, don't pick this. You're getting this shit for free. So at level 10, multiple times I've done builds where I'm like, and I always get, as you know, Dimension Door, Dragon's Breath without thinking about it. Well, if I'm Arcane Bloodline, that shit would have been free. I just wasted a free spell pick. So I will reinforce this when we get to level 10 to remind you, do not grab that shit. It's going to be there. Once you finish your level 10 leveling up, trust me, it'll be in your book. You can trust on that. It's just weird that they didn't add the thumbs down. Probably because it was a last minute addition, I'm guessing. From here, one of the weirder spells that they at least give us that no one else has access to, at least until level 19, is Break Enchantment. I don't think anyone else gets this one. And what does this one do? Well, it's a little bit of Dispel Magic, but not quite. It's also like Remove Curse, but again, not quite. It removes curses for you or a teammate. It can break enchantments, like the name of the spell implies, as well as transmutations. Now, what falls under those categories? Well, obviously enchantments, transmutations, and curses. However, You may think, oh, transmutation, you got turned into a dog, you can't cast spells. Yes, this is true. But if it happened to a teammate, I could turn him back. Or there are other transmutation spells that don't turn you into anything. There's a transmutation debuff in the form of slow spell. I know you've seen that one hit your team before and thought to yourself, man, if I can only get rid of that damn penalty, that'd been nice. Well, here you go, baby. No, yes, I'll probably forget I even have the spell, but that's on me, not on the game developers. They did their job. They gave us a decent spell. The enchantments, again, if I'm hold person, hold monster, dominate person, I may not be able to cast spells, and therefore I can't remove it from myself, but I can do it from a teammate. And there are other enchantments besides that are just straight up penalties. Besides things like Hideous Laughter, hold person, hold monster, constricting coils, and all those paralysis or basically screw you over spells, there are ones that debuff you, like think of Overwhelming Grief or Crushing Despair, ones that are just straight up penalties. They're on you and they're on you for a long time. Well, guess what, baby? Break enchantment, poof, it's off me now. Yay me. So again, a nice utility spell of the list. While all of these are definitely have their place, this is the only one that I'm truly excited about. I'm okay with True Seeing, but I normally pick it if I don't have a blind fight build anyway. This will not be, and therefore it makes sense that I would pick it anyway. I'll happily take it for free. And again, even if I have blind fight, I can still cast this on another person. So again, another useful, if generic spell. Why so many generic spells, you may wonder? Well, again, you are Arcane. These are staples for a reason. There's a reason that everyone wants these types of spells, because all Arcane casters probably should grab shit like this. They don't, but they should. But beautiful news is we get 3 free spells here, here, and here. And then, of course, the 6 more that all Magi get at level 19, assuming they get that far. And as such, that's a lot of potential. So again, if you wanted to be an enchanter, here's your chance, baby. And again, not limited to the crappy ones that they may stick you with from here to here. I'm thinking of the Fae, for instance, or the Serpentine, or the other ones that get, you know, hold monster, hold person spells. I can pick what I want. If I want Hideous Laughter but not Sleep, here you go. If I want Deep Slumber or decide that I don't want Hypnotism, again, I don't have to pick it. I can grab what I choose. And I get 3 choices and then 6 more. So I get 3 when they're useful and then 6 more just to round me out at the end of the game. Sounds cool to me. And that's really our bread and butter here. The freedom to pick the spells and bonuses to DCs besides, as well as a definite reason for wanting to go meta magic. So let's actually level up this pick, shall we? Drive him higher. Perception and Persuasion, just so I can break this down quicker. The point stats are going to be as follows. Perception and Persuasion are always going up. So by the end of the build, 20 and 20 here. I'll put 6 in Use Magic Device eventually. I'll put everything else, 3 in Athletics, 3 in Mobility. Why? Mobility 3 is to get the extra armor for fighting defensively. The 3 in Athletics is because, well, it's about the only thing you can really get some cheap XP on early on. Remember, this is not a solo build. You are always taking a team. So if you want to do an athletic check or 2, having it a little bit higher is not a bad idea. Rapidly, you will not be the person that does this, because plus 10 is all we're going to take it to, and that's really not going to be worthwhile. But you will be able at least to do the persuasion checks when they come along, and those are some big XP money for you. And then there may be a knowledge arcana check every once in a while that gives you some XP, but it's, again, unlikely that it's going to like really make a massive impact on your leveling process. But again, you should be the guy that probably does those, if you can. Again, 3 here for athletics, 3 for mobility. The rest of them will be jumped into Arcana. Again, 6 here, maximize 20/20 here, 3, and then whatever I can fit into Arcana. Now, I will deviate from this to put some in a Trickery. You will not do that. I'm doing 6 in Trickery just because if I take you to the Abyss Depths and I have some time to show you some stuff, I hate when I can't pick a lock. It just bugs me. So I will invest a little in it. But again, I will remind you at that 6 to say, hey, don't forget, you will not do this. Take that 6 and put it into Arcana. Or, you know, Athletics if you want to push it a little higher. I'm not married to the idea, but you are an Arcanist, and then therefore Arcana knowledge kind of makes sense for me. I would push Athletics up to 3 as soon as you can, though, without gimping your Perception or Persuasion. Because again, early levels, at least that high Athletics will be enough to get you some cheap XP. Spell-wise, we're going to get the typical stuff, your buffs, your melee touch attacks. I won't really emphasize the points. I will say why I'm getting 1 at a specific level, maybe. But we'll fly through that. But remember, we're going to be a Conjurer that does acid attacks. So anything that falls into that category with a DC check is our bread and butter. Notice this does not have a DC check. I picked it on the Dragon guy for a reason. Remember, the Dragons get extra acid damage because he's an acid type dragon. If he was a fire dragon, fire spells, he would do more damage. If he was an electric dragon, you get the idea. So I made the case for why Corrosive Touch was almost as good as Shocking Grasp, and therefore thematically it made sense. Just because thematically it makes sense for this build doesn't mean I'm stupid. I don't want to have a inferior spell that I'm never going to use. Our spell picks are precious, and therefore I'm not grabbing this and Shocking Grasp. Shocking Grasp is a clear winner. I'm taking that one. From there, though, I don't mind grabbing, say, a nice Grease spell. That's going to be Amazeballs, because we get a DC bonus on that. Oh, actually, I take that back. Before that, I'm going to do something different. I'm going to grab Enlarged Person. I'm going to grab Enlarged Person because, remember I said that our strength will end at 18, he's going to end his strength at 20. There's a way around that. Here's my way around it. He did not take Enlarged Person because there's a lot of penalties. Yes, those penalties will still be employed on me, but there's a reason for this, and trust me, when we get to the actual spells and casting them, I'll tell you again why this was important. There's a method to my madness. Trust me, it makes sense. It'll all come together at the end. Now we're getting our first concentration bonus that no one else is getting. That's nice. Now that one's done, and I'll put mobility to 3 just to have it out of the way. Again, I don't have to. I will. But again, if you wanted to unlock, use Magic Device, go, feel free. Mobility to 3 sooner than later. Arcane, if you wanted to pump it, again, that's perfectly fine. But this is just what I'm doing to make sure I don't forget. From here, again, just as a reminder, we had Spell Focus Conjuration first, and we had Arcane Strike first. Now that's because we went Human. If you went Aasimar, as a viable option, as we've said. So if you went Aasimar, you would lose out on this first feat. Well, you don't want to lose out on Arcane Strike, so we're just going to get it later. That's fine. Because you went Aasimar, you're probably going to want to get Wings, I would assume. As such, you would have to get them at level 10 or higher, which obviously is a level 11 or higher, because that's as soon as you get a feat. So that means you're technically missing out on 2 feats, in my opinion. The first one for not going Human, and then another one because you're picking up Wings. That's still a plus, don't get me wrong, but I can't get Wings, so it's not in my build. If you want those Wings, which I highly recommend, remember that's a +3 to your dodge for melee attacks, and immunity to difficult terrain, and the dragon guy got them, you know you want those Wings. So if you went Aasimar and wanted those Wings, move Arcane Strike back, and the 2 feats that you can lose, I will show you when we get to them, where I could say, well, you could probably lose this one and not feel bad about it. You can also lose this other one and not feel bad about it, but I'll show you that when we get to it. But also in the dragon build, remember, he started off with Elemental Focus Acid, and in that video I specifically said I made a mistake. It's not that we didn't want it, it's just there's no acid spells early on that have a DC check, so it was a kind of a waste of a feat early on. If I was smart, I said, which I think I am, I want to do Spell Focus Conjuration first, because those spells like Grease, Snowball, Glitter Dust are these spells that we take, and they have a DC check, therefore the Spell Focus Conjuration would benefit us early on. So I said in that video, if I was smart, I'd swap them around, and I would. In that video, I'd re-go back on that build and swap those places so that Elemental Focus Acid shows up, but it'll be later in the build. So I basically took my own advice. Here's Spell Focus Conjuration at level 1. Now, the difference between my build and his build is he has a lot more strength guaranteed, and he has a higher charisma than me. Well, that don't sound like a big deal. Remember, we made him a quarterstaff wielder. Why? Because he was also going to get wand wielder, which, as you know, has also the staff component in it. What does that mean? A normal two-handed wielding magus will do the following. If you have spell combat on and spell strike on, you can cast a spell with your own spell list, attack with it, swing with your weapon once, and you're done, because you're using a two-handed weapon. If it was a one-handed weapon, like a rapier, a kukri, a whatever, your choice. But if you have a one-handed weapon, you can cast your spell, attack, 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 like normal with your weapon. Yes, there's a -2 penalty to it thanks to spell combat, but so what? That was the point of you going magus, right? Well, here's how the quarterstaff guy got away with it. By having wand wielder, it's also wand/staff wielder in my mind, because as you read the tooltip, if the staff has a spell in it, which means obviously it's a magic staff, there's several in the game, you can cast the spell from the staff like it's your own spell, and attack, attack, attack like normal. That's his only way of doing that. If he goes back to his normal spells or a wand spell, he again does the reverse, where he casts the spell from himself or from his wand, and then attacks once and only once in a combat round with his two-handed weapon, which sounds like a horrible idea, but he has strength and he has power attack. Trust me when I talk about it later, he really doesn't care all that much, because he's going to hit like a goddamn brick shithouse. And again, he's not married to the weapon, so he can always switch back to a one-handed when he wants to do that, so it's up to him. Likewise, I can do the same. I don't have to use a quarterstaff. I can, but I don't have to. I will get Wand Wielder, and here's where I'll get it. I will not get Wand Mastery, though. Remember, he does. Why? Because my Charisma is not going to be maxed out. It's close, I'll grant you. 22 is not that bad compared to 24. It's a +6 versus a +7. But it just bugs me that I don't have the maximum. On a maximum, I do like this combo. That's why he took it. Now, he also took Arcane, actually. Again, another one to take. Again, if you have maximum Charisma, it's a good idea. Would it be a horrible idea for me? No, but I have access to all the shit. He only had 3 picks. So for him to grab these 2 and that one, that was probably a good call for him. He could have maybe have dumped that in favor of getting this, and then maybe Prescient Attack or something. But, again, you can quibble about what kind of picks to take when it's your build. For my build, I'm grabbing Wand Wielder now to use the wand aspect of it. Why do I say that? Because I'm not grabbing the quarterstaff. I'm actually grabbing a smart pick. I'm grabbing the rapier, or kukri, or scimitar, up to you. But a one-handed. Hell, I've done a longsword build before, and it's fun. Remember, just that high crit range is not enough of a reason to pick a weapon. Yes, it's good. Yes, it's helpful. Clearly, it's better. However, there's plenty of really good longswords in the game. I think battle axes are one-handed too, right? Or maybe it's the great axe. No, it's definitely the battle axe. We could get that too. You could grab daggers. There's plenty of really good daggers. It feels a little weird being in full plate mail and wielding a dagger, but you know, whatever, man. Do you. I'm not going to tell you what to pick, but I know you should pick a one-handed weapon for this build. That's why. And it has to be a weapon focus, as we'll see here in a moment. So there is a reason for it. Now level 1 spell after enlarged person. Now we can grab that conjuration spell. Grace, again, a staple, amazing spell, as you know, for anybody else. Level 1 to level 20. We're going to get such a buff to this, it's retarded. Keep pushing it. More and more, please, more. Perception, persuasion. I'm going to unlock, use magic device just because. One and only point in strength. Now, just so we're clear, my strength is now better than his. He will catch up at level 7. He'll pass me at level 9. However, with my enlarged person on, I can actually take that 18 to 20. So again, I'll still be ahead of him all the way up till level 9, and at level 9 we're equals. Now, yes, he's better than me without the buff, and he does not have enlarged person, so he could cast it on himself too if he picked it, but he did not pick it. So again, there's differences. But this is my way of being competitive. Now, again, the typical spells, nothing wrong with them. Mobility and athletics are both done as far as I'm concerned. Now, level 5, you're going to pick up some weird stuff. First, let's grab our Dazzling Display. Amazing spell. Notice we need a weapon focus. That's why we grabbed weapon focus here in something. What you pick is on you, but I went one-handed. Then for the other one, we're going to get another feat that he doesn't get until like level 7, I believe. He gets it from his free dragon picks. Remember, he loses out on these bonus Magus feats here and here, but he makes up for it by getting 3 Draconic picks in the Dragon Disciple Bloodline, or build. So he literally has 3 to my 2. So he technically will have more feats than me, but is, you know, he got Blind Fight and Power Attack, 2 amazing feats, and then he got like Toughness, which is not amazing, but it's definitely worth picking. So at least something. So he is going to be ahead of me on several things. But having Power Attack a little sooner is, again, a little something. From here, you may think, you know, he's going to grab his Scorching Ray, and yes, normally I would. However, we are a conjurer. Why not get yourself some conjuration bonuses? Here's another conjuration spell that we'll get a nice +1 to. And again, has an effect even if it doesn't. And like many conjuration spells, by the way, the reason that he did that Dragon Disciple 10-10 split, because we don't really have to worry about spell pen, because almost most of your conjuration spells are going to be no spell resistance. As you can see here and here. Not all of them, but quite a few. So he doesn't have to worry about the fact that he's caster level 17 and has no spell pen. He could give a rat's ass. I don't particularly care one way or the other, but again, I'm trying to compete with him. And again, I'm still happy to get another conjuration spell with a DC check. Now we got our invisibility for free. And again, that helps us set up some stuff. Not saying it's amazing, but it's definitely better than not having it. And remember, they last 1 minute per caster level until you attack. Cast a spell, attack a bad guy, whatever. Or they notice you, obviously. I think, well, I don't think it wears off just because they notice you. If you attack, which of course you're going to, if they're attacking you, why would you just stand there and take a beating? But I guess you'd still be invisible until you actually do something. But one thing that we are going to get, because we get all these Magus Arcana that he won't get, we're going to grab all the weapon upgrade ones. So anything that has a blade in the name, you're going to pick it up. So we got Enduring Blade, Ghost Blade, Bane Blade when they show up. As soon as they show up, you're going to grab them. That still leaves us 3 to pick from. That's here, here, and here. And as you see, I've already grabbed Wand Wielder, and we have 2 more still to decide on later on. Now that Glitter Dust is on the list, let's grab that Scorching Ray, because I'm not a complete imbecile. Keep going, Megas. Corn against Smash, remember you needed Power Attack, which we have, and you needed Persuasion 6. Now he could pull this off because his Power Attack showed up with his Draconic build, if I remember correctly. So he had Power Attack down here, and then he grabbed the Corn against Smash, assuming he's been investing in Persuasion enough to pull it up to 6. We're at 7 right now, so we're fine. But again, it is a Corn against Smash build. You need high strength, Power Attack, you need a weapon focus for Dazzling Display and all that other shit, because there's going to be more coming down the pipe. 2 more spells here. Another Conjuration spell. Yes, please. That's Snowball. Again, even if I don't make the check, I don't care. It's no spell resistance. As long as I hit them, which again, my dexterity does suck, I will say that. But again, our BAB is going up and up and up. So if it hits, it will do cold damage. A pretty good chance that they're not going to be straight up immune to it. So that'll be nice. And even if there is an effect for the saving throw, then I'll have a bonus that they've been staggered. Yay me. Level 3, Vampiric Touch. While I normally grab Displacement, I'm going to grab Lightning Bolt first. Why? He's going to get Acid Breath at level 8. And that's an AoE move that I'm never going to catch up to. Now I can at least try to compete a little bit by having some extra damage on my side. That's AoE, and here's my chance of doing it. I'll get Displacement, don't freak out on me. But this is my chance to try to compete with some of the damage output he's going to be putting out there with that free Dragon's Breath that I will not get. Notice I also get Medium Armor. He won't get that for a long time. Trust me, he doesn't care. That Dragon Bastard is getting a +7 by the end of his build. Actually, in the middle of his build for Natural Armor. Not Natural Armor Enhancement, Natural Armor. Those things stack. So he's got plenty of armor. He doesn't miss that. He's not getting Plate Mail. Trust me. It's a solid build. Now, all our points are going from Charisma. Then we do Perception, Persuasion again, like always. Some Arcana, sure, why not? I'm grabbing that Displacement now, like I said I would. Remember, you're not necessarily the tank in this build, but you're definitely off tank, which means you're DPS/tank in the front. You may not be the main guy taking the beating, because again, you don't have the Constitution for it. You don't have a lot of hit points, but we'll have ways around that. Remember, we got Vampiric Touch, baby. As that keeps going up, we can sap some health off some bad guys and have a decent health pool besides. Especially if we can guarantee some crits. We already know that trick. So again, stuff that you will use. Now, we're level 9 in our first free spell pick of just random freeness. Now normally, and I'm going to do this on other builds, so don't freak out, Sense of Vitals is an obvious pick here. It's sneak attack damage at level 9 for a non-rogue type. Hell yes, I want it. We're not grabbing it on this build. I know, but remember, you are a conjurer. Conjurer acid, first and foremost. That's what we're trying to compete with. So, I don't need Sense Vitals. I miss it. I truly do. And you'll see it on plenty of other builds. I hate doing the same spell picks all the time. So this is our chance to deviate a little from the plan. Well, let me tell you what feat we're picking, and I'll tell you, of course, what spell we're picking then as a result. I'm grabbing Augment Summoning. Take a guess what spell I'm grabbing. You better believe I'm grabbing the best summons that we have, which in our case will be Summon Monster 3. Now, we will get eventually Summon Monster 6 here. Having said that, at level 19, I'll also get the next feat, that's Superior Summoning, which gives us the 1 extra summons. This is the one that toughens them up, more strength, more con, for any of your summons, which will be these guys, and of course at level 19, the level 6 summons that we're going to pick up. If you wanted to lose 2 feats to go Ascender, remember you still want Arcane Strike, lose this one, lose the Superior Summoning, and obviously don't pick the summon spells. Now, you don't have to listen to my advice on the summoning spells. They're still useful, but having them not buffed up really seems like a bad idea. And again, I'm doing it for thematic reasons. I'm a conjurer. I should conjure shit. Here's my chance to conjure some pets, that, something that the dragon guy couldn't do. Gives me some utility as well. So that's why I went this route. If you don't want it, again, because of asthma or for other reasons, maybe you just want those 2 feats back to do something else as a human, that's fine. Do your thing, man. I'm not telling you what to do. But this is what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. Now for our other here, remember, it has Blade in the name. You're going to grab it as soon as it shows up. So there's our Ghost Blade. Level 3, why not grab haste to buff you and your new buddies? Keep going. Remember, by the way, at level 9 we got another bump to our concentration. At level 9, so now it's at a +3. We're officially a fighter now. Now I am going to use Magic Device up to a 6 as soon as possible now, so that I can make sure I'm just fairly just done with it. From here, I have 2 more picks. You better believe and grab an Acid Arrow. Remember, no saving throw, so I'm not getting any bonus to this one, so it's no big deal, but it's still a great spell. Level 4, Dimension Door, no thumb, do not pick it. Dragon's Breath, and I like Stone Skin. Why not get some protection finally? And remember, you will have Dimension Door waiting for you now that you're done with it. You'll see it here once we go to level 11. You'll see it's part of your spellbook already. Get those. That's done now. Why do I say that's done for me? Because while +13 is not amazing, this is yet to finish going all the way up to 22. 2 more points here puts it at a solid +15. I'm happy with that, and that'll even go higher when I start getting the increased charisma gear. So I'm not worried about Use Magic Device going up any higher. Up to you, but I think that that's a solid choice. Now, level 11, we're getting 2 weird things. One, we're grabbing Shatter Defenses. Why? Shatter Defense is the one that they're shaken, frightened, or panic, which are intimidation checks. Remember all that Cornigan smash and fun shit we're going to do? They're going to be scared of us. Now, when we get to 15, we're going to get Dreadful Carnage. That means that anyone that dies at our hands, whether it's from a spell or from our weapon swing, doesn't matter which, we intimidate everyone around us in a goddamn circle, because they just saw us kill their friend, right? So if they're feared, then everybody after that I can literally just beat the shit out of, because they're now flat-footed because they're shaken, frightened, or panicked. So it's really, really nice, right? And again, it's going to get better than you think. I'll show you why in a moment. But the other free feat, this is our one and only real chance to grab a Meta Magic, in my opinion. So, which to grab? Now that's the question. So we'll talk about this just briefly here. The 3 I'm going to recommend, Extend, Reach, or Empower, are good choices. Why are they good choices? Because Extend and Reach can be used for 10 different spells that we will pick that has DC checks. They'll be useful for more spells than that, but the 10 spells that we care about is because of this +1 DC bonus, remember? So that's 10 spells here or 10 spells here. Either way we go, they may be different spells, to be sure they will be, but at the very least it will be the same number. Empower, on the other hand, actually, if they pick the spells that I pick, I think I ended up with like 11 of them that had DC checks with them. And again, that's nice. The difference between this is, again, remember, Extend and Reach increase the spell level by 1 level. So levels 1 through 5 we potentially can buff to levels 2 through 6. See that? Empowered gives 2 levels to it. So a level 1 spell becomes level 3. 2 becomes 4. You get the idea. That means we can only buff spells 1 through level 4 because we can bump them to 3 through 6. No higher. So level 5 and 6 spells we cannot buff with Empower. Meta Magic. Bummer. But it's what it is. That's fine. I still like it and I'm going to pick it. But Extend makes a strong case, so does Reach, and I'll show you when we get to them. However, Heighten is an amazing one. As you remember, I can take any level 1 spell and make it level 1 through 6. I can take any level 2 spell and make it 2 through 6. You get the idea. Your spell book will be flipping huge with Heighten. But it's all it really does. It's not, I hate to say it that way like it's a big problem. It's just, I'd rather, make sure I do more damage or have extra whatevers, have it last longer or shoot farther, Maximize would make a strong case for me too, but it's only spells again 1 through 3 because it's 3 level buff. So that's a drag, because that means Fireball can be added to this list, but it's a level 6 casting. Do you really need it to be a maximized 60 points of damage when you have so many other awesome spells at level 6? It's cool. I'll grab the Maximize Magic down here more likely than not, so then I can take any of my spells and maximize them. Again, that's a difference. And the fact that I'm going Empowered, Meta Magic allows me to do that ever popular Vampiric Touch, level 3, make it level 5, so it's Empowered, and then do the Maximize Magic on that son of a bitch, so I can literally guarantee that when I touch attack someone, it does 90 damage, and I get 90 health. If I can guarantee a crit, that 90 just jumped to 180 for 1 hour of extra health. I'm just saying, pretty damn badass. Level 1 spell. Last one we're picking. Again, you may think, well, grab that Expeditious Retreat, man. You can't run for shit. Well, you're never going to run for shit. Remember, you're not a solo character. You're never a solo character on this build. So there's no reason for an Expeditious Retreat. If you feel like moving faster, buff you and the team with haste and then run around for a minute or two fast. Nothing wrong with that. But there's no need for this then, because you definitely don't have the dexterity to do that trick where you're kiting, stopping, turning, shooting, stopping, turning, shooting. Your BAB sucks at the low levels. There was no reason to pick it. So, what are we going to pick? Well, if you're tank or at least off tank, you know you're going to be fighting some strong dudes. And if it's not swinging at you, he's swinging at your main tank, wouldn't you like to help that guy out by debuffing that guy that's swinging at him for some strength? Remember, even if he fails the save, we're taking him down at least 3 points. Definitely something. And, well, it's weird, this is a necromancy spell. We don't have any real buff to it. That's not to say we can't empower it or extend it or reach it. Matter of fact, we can do any of those three. But you'll see at the end of this build, I'm actually picking up a lot more necromancy spells than you might think. And I'll explain why when we get there. But it's going to be cool. Trust me on this. Level 4, we got our Dimension Door. What's our next spell on this one? Let's see. Oh, I'll take Shout, please. There you go. I have papers, guys, by the way. It's what I'm pausing for. I'm checking my multiple pages of what I'm doing for the best possible build for you here. So, Shout. Notice something on Shout. We could empower it. Of course, it does damage, and there's a die roll. Therefore, you can empower this thing. And it's level 4, so it still fits in our theme. So, yay us. I could extend it. See the duration? 1 round. We cannot reach it. It's a cone. Any kind of cone, whether it's a narrow cone like Lightning Bolt, which is a beam cone, if you will, or an actual cone like you're seeing here for Shout or Dragon's Breath, you cannot reach those spells. You can empower them. You can maximize them in some cases, obviously not here because it's level 4, but you could empower some of those guys, and you can extend some, because while this is instantaneous and therefore you can't extend it, this one here has a duration on it for the stun effect, and therefore you can extend it. So again, extend has some utility that you may not think, because for damage, usually people think range, power, like empower or maximize for extra damage. Keep going. More charisma, perception, persuasion. Now I'm going to break from the norm. This one's done, and I said that everything else is going into Arcana, and I meant it. However, again, I said I will put 6 points in here. You will not do this. Take these 6 and put them into Arcana. Trust me, you'll be happy with it. But I'm doing it so I don't miss out on some stuff. Free pick here, because we don't have Bane Blade yet, so what do we grab? Well, you know me. I love my Prescient Attack. Well, you don't have Dexterity. Yes, that's great for ray spells, I understand. However, I still have a swing, and I want to hit with my swing. Why? Well, when you catch them flat-footed with they're scared and everything, share defenses, you don't need Prescient Attack. Yes, that's true, but how do you make them scared? Aha. Well, we could do our Cornigan Smash. Where the hell did that little bastard go? Right there. Where again, we do an Intimidate check. When you damage an opponent, with a power attack, you intimidate them. So, I gotta hit them somehow. Well, here's my first swing. Prescient Attack, swing with a Cornigan Smash. I intimidate the bastard. Guess what? He's feared from me. Guess what? Just takes off from there. Shatter defense, shatter defense, shatter defense. Awesome, right? Wait, it gets better. Remember that dreadful carnage? I killed somebody. So, here we go. Prescient Attack, beam spell, or a fireball spell, whatever spell I need to hit that son of a bitch, or swing hard on that weak little character. Kill him or her. Every one of his friends is now scared of me, and now Shatter Defenses is up. All the time, baby. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy of ass whoop. Trust me, you're gonna love this build. Keep going. We have Shout. Now it's time for some Control Fireball, I'm thinking. Remember, you are a teammate-friendly character. Controlled Fireball makes sense. Prescient Attack, Perception, Persuasion. Get that trickery up a little more, please. Level 13. Okay, now we're going to grab, where's my feet? Our first chance to get Elemental Focus Acid. Okay, this will be a chance to get it. Now remember, like I said, the other guy had it at level 1 and got, what was it called? Spell Focus Conjuration later. I'll swap them around, whichever place makes sense. But this is truly the first place that it makes sense for me, and here's why. New spell. It's waiting for you at the top of the list. I can't set it up any better than that for you guys. Now, yes, I said Acid Pit sucks. Yes, I said your team is idiots. And your character's stupid when you're not controlling them. Just be careful with it is all I'm telling you, because this is not something you want your team falling in. They will fail this check. We are pushing this one through the goddamn roof, and we can empower that bad boy too, so it'll be a level 4 or a level 6 casting. It's gonna be mean. We're gonna have all kinds of bonuses to conjurations. We're gonna have all kinds of bonuses to acid spells that have DC checks. We just started that train right now. This thing's gonna have a huge penalty for anyone that's trying to make their DC check on it. It's gonna be awesome. For those of you wondering why I didn't get Acidic Spray, because again, it's another amazing acid conjuration spell, guess what? We can pick it up as we naturally level, and we're gonna. Hell, I'll even grab Cloud Kill and Stinking Cloud, 2 other conjuration spells that we already have buffs for. So this one's got double buffs on it, thanks to the acid and conjuration, and this one has conjuration and conjuration as well. Remember, you are not immune to poison in any way, shape, or form. Neither is your team. Make sure someone buffs you. Do not walk into this shit. The conjuration bonuses alone for our DC checks, your team will probably fail it. You will die. Don't be dumb, and don't be a hero. By the way, you can actually, for those of you that didn't know, empower Stinking Cloud. You see the die roll down there? 1d4 plus 1? It clings to you after you leave the cloud, after, of course, you fail the check. So you don't just step out of the cloud and are perfectly fine. You're still hacking your guts out. That's the nauseated effect. That's awesome. We can empower that shit so it lasts longer. Just saying, some people are cooler than others. Keep going. Grabbing more Magi. More trickery, sure, why not? Last spell pick here. You'll notice I'm grabbing Mirror Image. A quick note here. I'm not grabbing Effortless Armor. Again, why? You're not really doing athletics checks anymore, man. You're not that good at it. And, let's face it, doesn't matter that you're a little slow. You're the tank or the off tank. You're not running quickly. If you need it, pop haste on you. You're running 30 rounds or 3 feet around faster anyway. That's fine. You don't really need to have Effortless Armor. It would be nice to have it, but tell me what spell I'd get rid of to get it. I'd love to get rid of Invisibility to grab it. Sadly, that's a free one, so I can't get rid of it. So again, I want that one. I know I want this one and this one. Glitter Dust is a conjuration spell, the only one on this list that's a conjuration spell with a DC check. And while I suppose I could get rid of Acid Arrow, we're an acid guy, man, and a conjurer. How can you not grab Acid Arrow? Yes, there's no DC check. That's not a problem. I actually like that part. And I like that there's still no spell resistance, and it's got a long range. It's still an amazing spell. So again, if I were to lose something, I suppose it'd be Acid Arrow, but no, I'm just not gonna. Break Enchantment was waiting for us. Here we go, level 5. Looks like it's time for some fire snaking. Remember, you're on a team, teammate friendly. Proof spell combat. Now that's another +2. So where are you at? +3 thanks to this guy at level 3 and 9. Now we got 2 more added to us. Now we're up to a +5 to our concentration checks. Very next level, guess what? We're going to be up to a +6 to our concentration spell checks. And I'm done now with trickery for the time being. And again, the 6 here, again, put it somewhere that makes sense. In my case, Arcana. Now, we're going to grab level 15. Ooh, it's Dreadful Carnage time. It's Dreadful Carnage time. La-ti-da-ti-da. Bane Blade. Blade in the name. You're grabbing it as soon as possible. Now it's school power time. Now, do I have to pick Conjurer? No. If I suddenly decide that Evocation has been doing pretty good for me, here's a nice +2 to all of them. Again, you don't have to specialize. You could be a little master of a couple of things. Nothing wrong with that. But a super secret special master, you know I want that shit. So we're going Conjuration. This will come in handy though when I do my Enchantment Illusion build, the one that competes with the Fey build, which is one of the ones I'm working on right now. And I can go Enchantment Illusion or Illusion Enchantment. So however I want to do, it's up to me. Spoiler alert, it's probably going to be Illusion is going to get a +4, Enchantment will be a +2. But I haven't yet decided on that. It's still going to be fun, and it's going to be epic. Now, Cone of Cold sounds like a good pick at this point. Going Magus. Or Charisma. Back into Arcana. Level 4. Now you can get, in my opinion, the ones that stick out for your last 2 picks here. Remember, we're at 6, but that's because we took Acid Pit. So we have still 2 more picks to go. This one in level 20. So, Greater Invisibility is an obvious pick. Here or later, up to you. Remember, you do have invisibility, so you can push it back or just straight up say, screw it, I don't need it. Again, we don't have Sense Vitals, so it's not that we're going to be doing sneak attack damage from invisibility. That doesn't mean you don't want to be invisible and attacking guys. There is a bonus to that. So it's still useful. If that's not your cup of tea, we have Ice Storm and Phantasmal Killer are the other two that stick out to me. I'll grab Phantasmal Killer at level 20. Again, you could swap it around, I don't care. Ice Storm, I say this because, again, if you want Asthma and you have those wings, this one slaps down some difficult terrain that you'd be immune to. I don't have that, so I'm not grabbing it. But, level 6 spells, you may think you know me, and I'm grabbing Sirocco, and you do, because I am. Now, you may think you know me, though, and say, well, he's grabbing Acid Fog, right? It's a Conjuration Acid spell. Notice there's no DC check. That doesn't mean I don't want it. I will grab it, so don't get crazy on me here. But, what's better than that? Well, either Transformation is amazing, or, remember, you are fighting a dragon dude. How can we not grab Dragonkind? And, remember, Dragonkind does give us also, not immunity, but protection from whatever elemental type we are for that dragon. So if I need some acid protection to stand in that acid fog, I don't have it yet. I just turn into a black dragon and I'll be fine. And remember, you can cast spells in that form. There's another bonus to Dragonkind 1, and I'll show you when we get into our spell, when we level up and all that stuff in the actual game. And trust me, you will like having Dragonkind. Going. Boom. Now, we're getting 2 picks. Greater Elemental Focus Acid now, and Greater Spell Focus Conjuration now. Done. That's a +2 to all your acid spells with the DC check. That includes things like Dragon's Breath when you cast an acid attack from it. Or any of our acid conjuration spells, obviously. And now we have a +4 to our conjuration. Why do I say 4? Because remember, we got that bad boy way back here. That's +2, and then another +2, and they stack. So we have a +6 to our acid conjuration spells right now, guys. That's huge. Remember Acid Pit? Amazing spell. Now, which spell am I going to pick here? There's plenty to choose from, but as a level 6 spell, that is a conjuration I don't normally grab. It's free, so I might as well grab it now. Chains of Light. It is a paralysis spell akin to Hold Monster, Hold Person. However, it's a reflex save, not a will save. And it's a conjuration DC check, which of course, as you know, we have a +4 DC to. Sounds like a good idea to me. And coup de grace, anyone? Slow spell time. Level 6. We're going to grab... Oh, am I getting that transformation now? Yeah, I know me. I'm grabbing that transformation now. We'll get Acid Fog before too long. Now, we are pushing the end of the road. Last pick, we have all our blade stuff. So Enduring Blade, Ghost Blade, Bane Blade are all done. I've got my Wand Wielder and I have my Prescient Attack. What do I want left? Maximize Magic. Now you can make 2 cases for me here. Quicken Magic and Wand Mastery. I'll tell you why I'm not going to, and you can decide on yourself. Wand Mastery. Remember, I don't have maximum charisma. It'll be 22. It's not 24. It's not that it's horrible. It just bugs me. Maximize Magic is nice because, again, I can maximize any spell 1 through 6 that I have. That's pretty tits because there's some really good ones up here at level 5 and 6 that I would really love to maximize. Just saying. And now that I can empower... where the hell did that go? Where are you, Empower? Now that I can empower some of those level 4 spells, why not empower and maximize them spells? Just saying. Super handy. Now, why did I say Quicken you can make a case for? Well, remember, because we're using meta magic, and a spontaneous caster, and that may not be for all of them, but for us being a spontaneous caster for sure, they make sure that we have to take a full round to cast the spell. That sucks. That really sucks, especially when you're used to just firing shit off and attacking. Well, now, Quicken Magic has a utility. Empower the shit out of that spell with meta magic, and before you fire it off, click that little Quicken button, and then fire it off, and it'll be poof. You're back in it. Just saying. Only 3 times a day, but sometimes it is cool. Now for me, I'll just make sure to invest in the Quicken Magic rods. That's fine. They're expensive, but they're worth it. And you were probably going to do that anyway. So you'll have more Quickens than I do, but I'll have more Maximize than you do. So again, potato. Up to you, though. Oh, 6. Time for some Acid Fog, I'm thinking. And yes, before you think and freak out, I will get Hellfire Ray. Don't panic. Remember, we're not great at swinging at those things, but our BAB is not horrible, so we might as well invest in it. Last pick, and again, if you're Asthma, you're not grabbing this one, but I am. Superior Summoning. Stacks with our Augment Summoning, and because we're going to get a summoning spell in here. Just one, but it'll be the best one, and that's also, by the way, the reason we went evil. So, if you're Asthma and don't know what to lose for 2 feats, this one and another one to get your wings, it's Augment Summoning, Superior Summoning. If you don't like this build and say, well, I'm not going to get summons because I think they stink, don't grab the summons, grab Sense Vitals here and grab something else in here and get rid of these two and pick something you do want. Nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. From here, your last level 5 one, I could care less. Let's grab Baleful Polymorph. Turn people into dogs are funny. For our free 6 spells, now I have a list. Let me read you my list. Where did my list go? Yeah, it is. My list of 6 free spells, and I'm going to lose one of these because I went Dragonkind. I actually didn't have Dragonkind on my list. For those of you wondering, instead of Dragonkind 1, I actually had Chain Lightning. And you may be, well, you already had Sirocco and Acid Fog. Why the hell do you need Chain Lightning? Well, let me explain. Yes, those are good AoE attacks. Yes, it's fire and acid, and therefore 2 different elements. I didn't need a third. However, these ones take time to damage them. If you need shit just dead now, Chain Lightning is a beautiful spell. So that's why I grabbed it. When you have the time for the slow burn, Sirocco and Acid Fog are great, but remember your teammates are idiots. They love to walk into that shit. We don't want them doing that, do we? I know I don't. Unless they're immune to the acid, then feel free, fellas, wait on in. But by and large, that was my logic here. But since I realized, we're missing elemental protection, maybe Dragonkind 1's a good idea. And when I realized that we were fighting against the Dragon Disciple, again, it made sense. So here you go. But here's my picks. See if you can figure out the one that we're going to lose. Okay? Here's my 6 in no particular order. Enervation, Summon Monster 6, Greater Heroism, Resist Energy, Eye Bite, and Bone Shatter. And I'm going to get the 5 that I'm going to grab. So let's get that Greater Heroism. Grab that Summon Monster 6. Let's grab ourselves that Eye Bite. Where are you at, Eye Bite? And we're going to grab 2 more that are level 4. That is Bone Shatter and Enervation. And then the last one, Resist Energy. Obviously, we don't need it. Now, is it horrible? No. Is it worth getting? Sure. Still good. Remember, I can use it on me and my team. But I had Dragonkind 1, and even though it's only like 20 resistance to whatever one element we're talking about, I still like it, and I'm fine with then losing Resist Energy, which gives us an option of what to pick next. There is only one Conjuration spell with a DC check that I haven't picked. And again, I could get another Summons, I don't want to. I could get the Summon Elemental, again, I don't want to. But here's another Conjuration spell with a DC check. It's both good and bad. Let me do the compliment sandwich. We start with the pros. 1, we're going to have a decent DC check on this because it's a Conjuration spell that's at least a +4 for us, right? It's level 4, and because it does a random amount of damage to Constitution, I don't know this, but I'm fairly certain we can empower it. So again, another +1 to the DC, that's a +5, so it's a pretty good chance it's going to land. And it does Constitution damage per round until they die, or it's frozen off or burned off, or they do remove disease. Well, I'm assuming this is them telling you ways for you to remove it from yourself. Obviously, you're not going to freeze yourself or burn yourself. Maybe that will work if I hit you with a fireball spell and you're saved from the slime and it kills it. I don't know. Never tried it. And that'd be a dumb idea. But it's a possibility. But remove disease is definitely a thing we could do. Now, having said that, on the bad guy side of things, have you ever seen a bad guy use remove disease on one of his friends? I know I haven't. So chances are if it lands and they fail that check, it's, I think, a one and done. If they fail that check, it's on you, and it's just con damage, con damage, con damage. Why does this sound like a bad spell then, Brothermutant? Well, let me show you the bad part. Poison and disease, not just one, both. What does that mean? If you're immune to poison, this will not affect you. If you're immune to disease, looking at you, Paladins, this will not affect you. That's 2 ways to protect you from this spell, and screw you, man. Really? That sucks. So, no, I'm not picking it. But I could see the case for it. What does that mean I want to pick up instead? Let's grab some of that Sense Vitals, baby. No, we're not doing that. I'm going to get something different. Fine. But you could. And everyone else is going to, so again, why not be that follow-along person? But there is nothing else really that we must have. Now, if you wanted to go crazy, I don't mind something like Obsidian Flow, for instance. And we have a little utility here. While there's no bonus to our transmutation effect, it's level 4. We can empower it, so there's a bonus that way. This is why it's better than Tarpool, in my opinion, because I can increase it. And I could slap that down where I slap down a Grease spell. Remember what this spell does. Damage, blah, blah, blah. But penalty into the area. If they fall prone, which means fall down in the area, they will continue to take 1 to 6 points of damage because all the sharp obsidian glass that's jabbing up into him. So, grease spell anyone? Slippy slide, boom, slippy slide, boom, slippy slide, 6 points of damage, 6 points of damage, 6 points of damage, if assuming I maximized it. You get the idea. Sounds fun. So, you can do the same with tar pool, by the way, where they're just stuck into the damn tar and sitting there. That's funny. But again, at least this one I can get a +1 to the DC check. It's not amazing, I'll grant you, but again, it's something, and I don't mind it. So you can do what you want, though, on that last one. Level 20. Time for some Hellfire Ray, baby. Well, that's your build. 6 here could go into here, again, like I said. That's 18 for Knowledge Arcana, pushing this up to a solid 22. I say that's worth it. The 15 is more than enough, and again, you are investing in Charisma gear, aren't you? So you should be, and therefore this will go up another +5 maximum, so at 20. So again, I think that's a solid build. Now, from there, last picks, doesn't matter. I'm grabbing that Phantasmal Killer. Feel free to grab Ice Storm if you've got the wings. Level 6, Hellfire Ray. And again, yeah, Chain Lightning's still there, but it's up to you. Oh, actually, I will not grab Hellfire Ray. I'm going to grab it. Rephrase. You should grab it. I'm going to grab Greater Dispel Magic because I want to show you something. Okay, this is just for information for you. You will not grab this. You will grab Hellfire Ray because you're not a dumb person like me. So, that's our build. Let's see what we got with that build. So here's our rest.
All according to
I don't even need to get a weapon from this jackass. I got a rapier already. I'm fine with it being normal. Let's get in here though, and let's start doing that thing where we put all our stuff where we want it. Now, I'm not going to do every spell under the sun because you don't have time for that shiz. But I will show you at least some conjuration funds that you're going to have. I will not put down Spell Combat and Spell Strike into the tray because I've been fat fingering it lately and I don't want to mess it up. But if you do, and you don't need your Viper Familiar on, by the way, you still get the bonus. See that? And there. So again, you don't need them out. So I can just leave off the tray. That's fine for me. I will put down our Power Attack, Arcane Strike, and I will make sure that I have where's my Fire Weapon, and my Keen Weapon, and my Speed Weapon, Ghost Touch Weapon, Brilliant Energy Weapon, and Bane Weapon. Yay! Got all of them on there that I wanted. Now this reminds me that I have Cold and Electric up in the tray, so I don't have to grab all of them. But that actually fits everything down there that I wanted. Now let's actually put in our 3 toggles. I'm not going to waste time with the cantrips just to save room. I would put them over here, but I'm not going to now. You don't need them, and I never use them for you guys. We will pull over the Maximize Magic, obviously. But I do want those 3 toggles, and I always do them in the same order, so that if you ever play it, you should do the same, in my opinion. Wherever you put them is up to you, but put them in the same order so that you always know which is the plus to the swing, which is the plus to the DC check, the one that I want on, which is the plus to the spell 10. Up to you. But again, like I said, I do top to bottom that way. From there, spell time. I don't care about the cantrips. I'm going to put a couple of buffs over here besides, and again, the ones that matter to me because they want to talk about them. From there, we definitely want just the conjuration stuff. I don't need to do the melee touch attacks. You know what they do, same with magic missiles, but the conjuration stuff and anything with a save that I can compare to the conjuration stuff like Rave and Enfeeblement is going to come out. For here, this is the only one with a save at that level. From here, I do want the Dispel Magic and Greater Dispel Magic so I can compare and contrast them. Also on that, I might as well grab the pets, because again, they are your conjurations, your summons, whatever you want to call it. From here, there is a conjuration spell in Stinking Cloud, and therefore I can compare it to either Lightning Bolt or Slow. Let's just do Slow, that way they don't die that fast. This is an acid spell sometimes. We're pulling that out. And Acid Pit, it's going to be Amaze Balls, as you'll see. I don't need to show you these other ones, so I mean, I can show you tricks with them, but it's no big deal. Acidic Spray is going to be Amaze Balls. Cloud Kill is going to be solid, and let's compare it to turning people into a dog. That's the normal DC check, by the way. So normal DC check, enhanced DC check because of conjuration, super enhanced DC check because of acid and conjuration. That's why I did that. Here's another conjuration spell. Might as well compare it to, actually, I had Dragon on the thing. Let's compare it to Sirocco. I mentioned the dragon kind because it, similar to your Dragon's Breath, it could be any dragon that you pick from that list. So it could be acid, could not be. This one has the potential to turn us into an acid type dragon, like a black dragon. Sadly, and I need to show this to you, that the acid damage doesn't get a boost because of our +2, because of elemental focus and greater elemental focus acid. If, however, you had a bonus to transmutation, spell focus transmutation or greater spell focus transmutation, I did test this the other day, it does buff it. Just so we're clear. Okay? Now, we go inside, I'm going to buff up a little bit and then show you a couple things quick. I remember I said I'd tell you a little bit about why I needed enlarged person to kind of keep pace with the strength of the other guy with all the penalties besides. Why would you want this craptastic spell? Well, let me tell you. For a shield spell and then enlarged person. Now I would normally buff up more of this, blur, displacement, whatever makes sense to you, but again, this is just 2 for a quick. And these guys are fodder, I don't particularly care. But notice my +2 to strength is a size bonus, not an enchantment, not a polymorph. That means dragon kind bonus will work. So will things like bull strength or transformation, the one that gives you +4 to strength, dex and con. Those will stack. The belts of giant strength +8 would stack. So again, those are enchantments, or enhancements, not the same as in a size bonus. So that's why I wanted to point that out to you. That's one thing. Yes, I have worse dexterity because I'm clumsy and big. Yes, I have a swing penalty thanks to the size penalty because it's harder for me to hit you small targets. And therefore also it's easier to hit me because I'm a big target. So another size penalty to my armor class. Those all suck. Why I say don't grab this spell. However, we're grabbing it to match the 20 for the dragon guy. He'll have it all the time. I'll have it when the spell's on. That's close enough for me. But there's a reason for my madness. Let me explain why. Here's our +5. We're doing a one-handed weapon swing. What does the +5 give us? Well, it's a +5 to your swing. So that +4 going to +5 counters, in my opinion, that size penalty. It's no plus, it's no minus, it's what it is. We do get more damage. It's only a point though. Okay, but now on a two-handed swinger, what would this +5 do? Remember the other dragon guy, he's wielding a quarterstaff, a two-handed weapon. You multiply the damage for your strength bonus by 1.5. So 1.5 times 5 is 7.5, round down, so he's getting a +7 to his swing. Better than me as far as damage is concerned, the little bastard. Well, that's not that big of a deal, you could say. Okay, fine. Notice something else. I can buff all my stats +10, and then all these go up +5 more. +5 goes to +10. Now redo those numbers. I'm doing +10 damage for my one-handed weapon swing because of the +10 strength bonus. He will have a two-handed weapon again, and therefore it'll be 1.5 times 10. That's 15. There's no rounding up or down on that one. He's doing 5 more damage than me, this son of a bitch. Now, having said that, can I switch to a two-handed? Yes, I can. I'm not a sword saint. Now you see my reasoning here. You want to end on an even number at your best case scenario. Because if you're using a two-handed weapon, you get more bang for your buck. Remember the 50% extra round down. So again, by it being even, there is no rounding error. That's why it's a bonus. So again, 20 wasn't doing him a whole lot of good because again, 7.5 gets rounded down to 7. Yes, he's still doing more, but he would have always done more. That's not an issue. So ending on a solid number though like that's going to be amazing. And again, there's more to it than just that. Remember our power attack? There's a bonus for a two-handed weapon swing for him too. Normally I swing at a -1 with a +2 for my damage for a one-handed weapon. I'm at a -4 now because I have a high enough BAB to account for it, and therefore I'm getting a +8 to my damage. That son of a bitch with a two-handed weapon, he's getting another 50% extra. So instead of +8 for his damage, he's getting a +12. Just for power attack being on and using a two-handed weapon, the son of a bitch. So he's 4 points of damage more than me there, 2 more points of damage for me here, so he's at 6 more damage than me currently. And then with that +10 bonus to all our stats, like I said we're going to shoot for, he's going to do that too. You better believe with that two-handed weapon, he's swinging like a champ. The damage compared to my one-handed weapon is awesome. So again, why would you ever switch then from two-handed? Remember, he can only cast a spell once and swing once in a combat round because it's a two-handed, unless it came from the staff. That was the key. Remember the wand wielder feat that he picked? That we picked too. So unless he's doing that, he's limited to attack with a spell, attack with the staff, he's done. But that means that he's probably just going to buff up and attack with the staff, because why not? It's doing epic damage. Way better than his spells are going to do, you know, single target anyway. So he might as well just beat the shit out of you like a piñata with that quarterstaff. I can do that too, though. And that's my logic here, okay? That's why I wanted to show you this. Also, there's another reason. I'll show you when we get into Dragonkind form. Now, there's another reason that I don't mind enlarged person, but I'll save that for later. Let's get in here and show you some conjuration numbers, shall we? So let's sneaky sneak.
They'll never see me coming.
There's a doofus right there. Let's take one of our low-level ones. How about we slap a little grease on the asshole? Like right there.
Enemy approaching.
Alright, let's check out his check, right? Grease spell cast. Here's his reflex saving throw. Notice our toggle is on. Here's the DC check. Let's do some math. I know, but it's important. DC 23. How did we get there? The spell DC is always 10 base plus the level of the spell. It's a level 1 spell, so that's 11. Plus your charisma modifier. In our case, plus 6. In his case, plus 7. He's better than me, but only by 1, and I don't worry about it. So 10 plus 1 plus 6. So it should be a 17 on average. 18 maybe, again, if you went all out in your charisma. But that's still pretty solid. And you know, grease spell works from start to finish without a lot of buffs, no less. So we've buffed it through the roof. How did we do this? So our 17 went up because it's a grease spell, plus 2 for spell focus and greater spell focus. There you go, from 17 now to 19. And then we had that spell power, or that school power, right? That plus 2 that we got at level 15 for conjuration. That puts it up another 2. So now from 19 to 21, where's the other 2 coming from? Bow. True Magus, baby. Something that dragon doofus didn't get. And that's always going to be how we outcompete him for DC checks. Right there alone, a plus 2. He could have gotten all the other feats that we got too. Nothing changed there. The only other way that I can beat him besides this is, remember, I could empower or extend or increase the reach of, with meta magic, some of these spells. Not grease, sadly. I cannot empower it, but you can extend it. You could reach it. Now, why wouldn't you want to do that? Reach would be okay. Extend would be a bad idea. I'll show you why later. But the point is, you could do that and then cast it at a higher level. It's a plus 1 DC, so that 23 could have been a 24. Now, for some frame of reference, let's take a sorcerer. You know, the creme de la creme, the guys that everyone wants to be that doesn't want to be a magus. I want to be a sorcerer. Fine, be a sorcerer. You can cast spells 1 through 9. That's clearly better than me. However, let's say you have the maximum charisma, 24, like that one doofus does that I don't have. That's a plus 7, and you're casting a grease spell. It's still 10 base plus 1 for being a level 1 grease spell, plus your 7 for charisma, making it a solid 18. Could you get spell focus and greater spell focus? Of course you could. You could be a conjurer, so your 18 jumps to 20. You don't have true magus, so you can't jump it another 2, but how can you get it more? It's entirely possible that they have access to an arcane bloodline like I do, where they get a plus 2 to their conjuration school if they pick it. I don't know that. I didn't check. But if they did, again, their 20 jumps to 22. I'm still at 23, so I'm still better than the sorcerer is what I'm telling you. Right? I mean, I'm not wrong on here, am I? Did I miss something? And remember, he doesn't get that cool-ass bonus that I'm going to get, the plus 1 if you use meta magics. Again, he could have heightened it and all that shit, but I could do that too. So again, if we're just talking about that plus 1 to the DC, if I extend it or I reach the spell with a meta magic, again, I'll get a bonus from 23 to 24. He shouldn't be able to get that. So again, I win. That means I'm better than the sorcerer from levels 1 through 6. Just saying. I won't get as many spells as him, and I won't get the 7, 8, 9 spells, but let's take a look at your other stuff. Let's hit him with something hard. Here's one of my best spells, Acid Pit. Okay, this one's great at level 4, and remember, I can empower it, so when I hit the guy with this, the DC check, you know, if I cast it as a level 6 version that's empowered, will be plus 1 higher, so keep that in mind. Where's the other doofus? There he is. Don't you run away from me, you jackass. Come on. You stink. He's gonna make me do it. Dickhead. There you go. Okay. You almost have to get it like right on the son of a bitch. It says you can fall into the pit if you're close by, and they do mean it, by the way. If I got to like this rubble area, I could actually slip and slide and fall in like a dumbass. But here's your reflex save to get out of the pit. Okay, 28. Again, follow the math. It's level 4, so 10 plus 4 is 14. It's an acid spell, so I got 2 for that for elemental focus, greater elemental focus. 14 jumps to 16. My charisma is plus 6, so 16 jumps to 22. It is a conjuration spell, so I got a +4 for that, right? So 22 jumps to 26. And where's the other +2 coming from? Boom. And remember, I can make it a 29 if I empower it, or extend it, or reach it. Which all of those I think would work on this. So I can make it a 29 solid. Now again, go back to that sorcerer. Now I'm not saying for this spell. Take his best spell, level 9 spell that I don't get. That's the best DC check he's ever going to get, probably, right? If he works at it. So let's look at that. 10 plus 9 for the level, 19. He's got that +7 awesome charisma that I don't have. He's at 26. He could get spell focus and greater spell focus. That'll slap it into 28 territory. And then if it's an elemental damage, he could do elemental focus and greater elemental focus. Again, pushing it even higher at what did I just say, 28, so now 29, 30. I can get mine to 29, and it's a level 4 spell, level 6 casting, because I've empowered it, or extended it, so maybe level 5. But his is level 9, and it's getting the same DC checks as what I'm telling you. And he had to work for that shit. I'm just saying, it's pretty damn badass when I can cast a level 4, level 5 spell, and it's the equivalent to what a DC check would be for the higher level casting types. Just saying. And I'm not done yet. Not only can I make it that +1, remember, just like the sorcerer, just like the dragon guy, these are all based on your charisma, or casting stat, in our case charisma. We all can buff our charisma. So instead of it being 29, I can jump this up another 5 points. I could have this spell hitting a 30-4, and that's not counting any of that magic gear out there that could be +1 to all your conjuration spells, +1 to all your acid spells, or if it even exists. I know there's one that will increase my acid damage, much like the dragon guy. That's cool, so look for that gear, but that's my point. And just like those guys, I can use spells like our necromancy spells to debuff the bad guys. Again, I told you I would talk to you about that. Why do we have our spell book? Why did I grab things like Eye Bite, Bone Shatter, and Innervation? Let's talk about that. Eye Bite is an auto hit move. You cast it basically on a target, but basically it's a toggle that's on you. So when he dies, or I switch targets, whatever, that's up to me. It is a swift action. You see that? And you must spend a swift action each round after the first to target a foe. That's fine. So you basically say, oh, stink eye that dude, and he has all these penalties on him. If he's really, really weak, he's paralyzed. That's unlikely. He's frightened and sickened. Again, might happen for us, but it's unlikely. More likely than not, at the high level we're picking this at, it's going to be this one. But again, notice HD is 10 or more, so there's no cap. So they're at least sickened for a long time. Awesome spell. Now, he dies. Obviously, we beat the shit out of the sickened target. Switch targets. So go under your abilities tab. You'll see an icon that looks like this. You click it, click another target. And now that doofus is the one you're giving the stank eye to. That's the switching of the targets thing they're talking about down here. That's awesome. Now he's penalized, or she. And you go over and beat the crap out of that doofus. Again, amazing debuff spell. Now, let's go back to level 4. Bone Shatter and Innervation. Let's do Bone Shatter first because it's the lackluster one in my opinion of the two, despite the fact that it does more damage. Now, 15d6 of damage maximum. We're already going to have that by the time we pick it up. That's going to be awesome. An automatic hit. You got to love that. It can be extended because it's a duration. You see that exhausted for 1 minute per caster level part there. Or it could be reached because the close range single target can be turned into medium range. It can even be empowered by me. As you can see my little ball right here letting you know I can empower it to level 6. So it can do more damage with this little bastard. Awesome sauce. Having said all that shit, that's just a +1 to the DC. I don't particularly care. Why don't I care? Because even if they make the save, they are fatigued. That's a -2 to strength, -2 to dex. No big deal, but that's a -1 then to reflex saves. If I get lucky and they fail to save, they're exhausted. Guess what happens now? -6 to strength, -6 to dex, and then -3 to those reflex saves. And if that wasn't enough to convince you and that it was worth picking, Sirocco can also make them fatigued or exhausted, and if they're already fatigued, they become exhausted. There's a nice 1-2 combo for you. That one troll bastard, picture it. You slap down Sirocco, he just marshals through it, he's making his fortitude save, he's like, screw you, I'm going to walk right through this fire hell and kick your ass. Well, guess what, buddy? Slapping some Bone Shatter auto hit move on you, and if you fail, great. If you don't fail, if you make the check, you're still fatigued, guaranteed, so that's a -1 to your reflex saves, and then when that Sirocco finally does kick your ass at least once, you're now fully exhausted. That's epic. Very nice 1-2 punch. Now let's go to the cool one, Innervation. What does the Innervation do, class? This is negative energy level beam. Yes, it's a to-hit check, so that sucks, but we have enough base attack bonus now, and with prescient attack besides, we should be able to land this more often than not. I'm not worried. However, worst case scenario, assuming that spell resistance is not a problem, or they're just straight up immune to negative energy levels, that's a thing, we will hit them and hit only a 1 negative energy level. What does just 1 do? Well, it does a bunch of shit. You know, there's like penalty to their skills. Who cares? There's a penalty to some other stuff. There is a -1 to all their saves across the board for every negative energy level. And this spell stacks on itself. So I could hit you with the worst case scenario, a 1, a 1, a 1 for negative energy levels, like 3 times in a row. You have now a -3 to all your saves. That's cool. Also, if I manage to hit you enough times with it where it takes you down to 0 levels or less, you're dead. Now imagine this thing, since there's a die roll, we can empower it. Yes, we can. It's level 4. So that could be a maximum of a 6. And if I maximize that shit 3 times in a row, that's a 6 to your negative levels. A 6 to your negative levels. A 6 to your... there's that 18. If you're at least 18 hit dies or less, you're dead. If you're above that, like say you're an epic boss that's in the 20s or 30s or I don't know, in the high end of the game, which is fine, I still penalize your saving throws by -6, -12, -18 by that 3rd hit. Tell me that shit ain't appealing to you. I'm just saying, necromancy spells are the great crippler in this game. It screws them. The only one that I think that competes with necromancy for the ability to fuck up your saves for the other guy, which basically is the opposite equivalent of buffing our DC checks, by the way, is I think enchantments is a strong candidate. Maybe illusion, but mostly I'd say enchantments are the biggie, with necromancy being probably a tie, I'd say, with illusion being a close 3rd. So you have really good potential for screwing dudes. Now I don't have to show you all these things. You've already seen the stuff and what they basically do. I mean, I suppose I could throw you down a nice chain of light spell just to show you what the save is on that thing. It's a solid 28. It's not getting any better for us because it's level 6, but still pretty good. I'm just saying, that's a really nice one. Yes, I can increase that 5 more points because my charisma can go up +10, making a +5 more bonus, right? So that could be a solid 33 for a paralysis spell that they check every round. Yes, it's reflex. And do you know he's paralyzed? Coup de grace, baby. No X, he's paralyzed. He's helpless. Let's just say it that way. He's definitely helpless. And again, you know I can do cool shit like my Vampiric Touch. I can empower that. You know I have the meta magic for it. It'll be a level 5 casting of it. And then I can maximize it using that little doofus. It's empowered already, and then walk over and touch the little son of a bitch on his shoulder because he has no choice. It's an auto crit hit, and I will get 180 hit points added to my character. Matter of fact, you know what? Screw it. I want to do it. Let's actually show you the meta magic anyway. Here's our Vampiric Touch. Click meta magic. It's already here waiting for you. Double click that. If that's not your thing, just drag it down to the circle. Notice it's level 3 spell, +2 to the level. It's telling you the total level now. Give it some kind of color coding system. Write the spell, you'll see it now in level 5. The good news is unlike a wizard who can do this and then have to redo their spell book and rest and get the spell back, you're a spontaneous caster, baby. So all I have to do is go to level 5 and look at it. It's waiting for me right there. Now, let's do this. Let's do this. No, no, no. Remember, you gotta step away because we need to guarantee our crit. Take that, loser. 180 hit points. Who's your daddy? Just saying. Some of us are cooler than others. That shit's epic. And I'm telling you, there's other ways to do it. And that's going to last you for an hour. Of course, it'll probably wear off you from other guys beating on you. But the point is you are definitely a solid tune with this. Is it comparable to the other guy? Yes and no. Remember, I'm not going to get the Dragon Breath 20d6 5 times a day that son of a bitch gets. And that sucks, I'll grant you. I don't even get Dragonkind 2 that bastard gets. That's a level 7 spell, by the way. Again, cool. I did want to show you our Dragonkind form, so let's do that super quick. Where did you go? Is that Dragonkind? Yes. Let's just do Black Dragon just to match head. Alright, so there's our guy. I did want to show you this. I did want to show it for a reason. Remember, this is our elemental protection. We didn't take resist energy, right? And someone else on the team is going to be there. They can buff you. I don't really mind. It's just I do like being self-sufficient. But look at your stats. First off, remember your strength stacks with enlarged person. I just wanted to show it to you to prove it to you. No penalty to your dex besides the enlarged person, of course. And con, again, is another polymorph. So again, if we had more con from, say, a belt of constitution, whatever, that would stack as well. Now, I do want to show you something else. Because you changed form, for whatever reason, the game has decided that Dragonkind 1 is normal human size. Don't ask me why. But Dragonkind 2, the one he has, remember, he has both of these, by the way, but Dragonkind 2 is a +1 to your size, much like enlarged person. Okay? Now, they don't stack for size. You don't become a size bigger and then another size bigger. Because this is making me be this size, guess what? Remember your -1 size penalty to your swing? It's gone, baby. And so is your armor class penalty to size. The dexterity one's still there, sure, and of course I'm not wearing any armor thanks to my Dragonkind form. You know, mage armor. I told you about that before. But that's another 1-2 punch that's not that bad. And I just wanted to show that to you because I thought that was cool. Now again, in Dragonkind 2 form, he would have a -1 to his swing because of size. He would have a -1 armor class because of his size, because he's bigger, the bigger dragon version. And Dragonkind 3, I assume, is even bigger than that. So a -2, probably. But I felt like mentioning that too. That's pretty solid. Of everything else that's on here, just a quick reminder of your poison spells, Stinking Cloud / Cloud Kill. Remember, you are buffed like crazy for the DC checks on these things. And the downside of that is if you have no poison immunity, delay poison being that spell I'm thinking of, for you and or your team's probably going to die in your shit if you're not careful. So watch Cloud Kill, and even Stinking Cloud can ruin your day. Remember, that thing's going to land, and the downside of that is 1d4 plus 1 rounds after. You're still affected by it after leaving the damn cloud. So 2 rounds minimum of you standing there puking your guts out, not attacking at all, not casting a spell at all. That's a big owie for the bad guys and for you if you're not careful. One last point. Remember I said that you could do extend for a grease, and I said, well, there's reasons to do it and not do it. Let me give you a reason for why you shouldn't do it. If there's a guy, let's say I'm a human, and I'm fleeing from this massive army coming my way. Here's a nice choke point, you may think. And let's say, oh, well, I'll just do a grease spell in the choke point, and I'll do the extended version of it so I get the +1 to my DC. Okay. Well, now guess what? After you take these doofuses out with, I don't know, let's do an AoE. Yay. You take them out, and now they're dead. Yay us, and now we need to get back through that choke point. So, how do we do that? Well, we just walk through the grease, right? Well, remember, you just buffed the shit out of that conjuration spell that you already buffed because you're a conjurer, right? Are you and your team all going to make that save throw? I don't know, man. There's a +6 on that bad boy right now, +7 if I extended it. And it's going to last now for double the duration, so you can say, well, we'll just wait it out. Okay, you're going to wait 40 minutes here and stare at that grease pool? That shit sucks, right? You see my problem. It's not that you can't do it, but just be mindful of what you're setting up, because I did it the other day and I went like, oh, I'll just run through it. And I slipped and slid that fucking grease for like 10 minutes before I finally made the check and got the hell out of it. That's stupid. You don't want to do that shit to yourself. So be careful. Now, I did this to show you the one last thing before we call this video quits. Here's our Dispel Magic. Here is our Greater Dispel Magic. Remember, you will not pick this. You'll grab Hellfire Ray. We already said that. But I did this to show you something. So here's Target. Here's Area. Notice that this one is Target and Point. So, know the difference. Remember, the Area one I thought would be the one you use on this to debuff or dispel the grease and the acid fog and the Sirocco and the whatever, the web spell, the entangle. And it doesn't do shit. I'll prove it to you. Cast it on the area, didn't do a goddamn thing. Well, okay, well then just do the target. Well, there is no target. Targets are people. Targets are objects, something you could click on. There's nothing to click on here, so what do? Well, now here's where this one comes in. It's target, which again is useless. But if we do point, it's a point in space, literally a specific single target point. So just find the grease spell and or the cloud that you want to dispel, click in the center of it. Now it doesn't mean it'll work, but it will at least try. See the fail? You fail to dispel. You fail to dispel. You stink, but at least you can keep trying until it works. Now is this ideal? Obviously not. I think that's why these are different. So if you want to have the one that could dispel the AoE effects, then you really want Dispel Magic and you want to use the point version. Really not doing that good, man. Come on now. Alright, I got grease. And that's good enough for me. Because while acid could be a problem, I have 20 acid resistance, baby. Good job, little buddy. But that's my point. That's the last thing I really wanted to show you. And again, I could show you all this other cool shit that you can do. And again, the DC checks are normal for the other guys, +2 of course included. Just a final note for our meta magic, just to show you there's going to be ones that have no DC bonus, but you still want to empower them. I mean, let's face it. Anything that has a bubble here, you want to take over here and make it a meta magic version. Why? Because even if you never use that spell as the meta magic version of it, because Shocking Grasp is good, but I mean, let's face it, Vampire Touch is definitely better. You know, I don't care about it, but if I need electric damage and it's the last spell I have is level 3 and I didn't have Lightning Bolt, well, here you go, baby. See what I'm saying? Utility. The meta magics are really all about utility, and for a spontaneous caster like us, your book is going to be awesome. I mean, hell, just look at this level 3 spells alone. Once I get done with these picks here, I just want to do all of them just to show you what we've accomplished just for one level of our spell book. Okay? That's all the meta magic I can do for the level 1 spells right now with Empower. And they're all level 3 spells now under the Empower version. Look how big your spell book is now. And again, if I had another meta magic, I could do it twice. Actually, I could technically do it 3 times. Let's think about this. So if you had Empower and Extend, I could extend something like a Snowball spell or Ray of Enfeeblement. I could also empower a Snowball spell or Ray of Enfeeblement. That's 2 different castings. Then, because it's such low level, I could extend and empower them. That's a +1/+2 to a level 1 spell. That would be 3 levels higher. I could cast a level 4 Snowball spell that's both extended and empowered at the same time, and I can do that with my meta magic if I had the other one, of course. That's my point. So you can have a retardedly ridiculous spellbook at the higher level stuff. I'm just saying. And it's very cool. Quickly, before we leave, look at the ones with the DC checks. Let's count them up for you, okay? So these don't count, this one don't count. That's 1, that's 2. Doesn't count, doesn't count, doesn't count, doesn't count. Doesn't count. That's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, nothing on here, 10, 11. That's 11 spells that we can empower that would have a +1 to the DC. And we have many that don't have other way to buff them. For instance, where was I at? Control Fireball, long range. You cannot reach that spell. Controlled Fireball, instantaneous damage. There is no extending that spell. It doesn't have a duration. It's boom and it's done. It's the flash in the pan shit. So again, the only good way to buff this thing up is with Empowered or Heighten, obviously. You can't even maximize this damn thing with meta magic because level 4 would be level 7. We don't cast level 7 spells. You see my point? There's a reason then for me going Empowered. Doesn't mean I'm right. Feel free to grab Extend, man. There's plenty of good spells to extend, buffs besides. So again, if we look at this list, let's go back through it real quick and talk about Extend. There's nothing to extend for the ones for DCs now. Nothing to extend. You could extend this one. The duration's 1 round. See that? So now you can be 2 rounds. Ray of Enfeeblement, you can extend that 1 round per level. So there's 2 right there. You can extend Grease. That's 3 now on level 1, no less. Nothing there. Well, we could extend it because of the staggered 1 round, 1 minute, by the way. But there's no save, no bonus to the DC. That doesn't mean you couldn't extend it. But Glitter Dust, you could extend that one. So now we went from 3 to 4. Going on. Nothing you can do with that one. Or here you could extend it, but there's no DC bonus. This one you could extend. So that's 4 now to 5. 5 now to 6. No, no, no. You could extend this one. 6 now to 7. 7 now to 8. 8 now to 9. 9 now to 10. This one's instantaneous as far as I think. So that should be still 10. And then in here, you can't extend that one. You could extend this, so 10 is now 11. And 11's not, that's permanent. Nope, that don't work. So 11. So again, still 11. Okay? If we did the same for reach, a lot of things can be reached. We could extend the, or increase the range on the touch spells so we can shoot them. But again, there's no save, so don't bother. As far as the DC checks are concerned is what I'm saying. But we can make this one shoot farther. That's a reach bonus. There's 1. There's 2 because it's close range. There's 3 for another close range. What else we got? That one's medium range to long, so that's 4 now. When we have, can't do that one because it's a beam. Remember, it's a AoE effect. So a tight beam, even though it's not a cone, it's still considered one. So no increase to it for reach for that. But this one's medium range. We can make it long, so now we're up to 5. Slows, close range. We can make that up to medium, so now that's 6. No, because it's a cone or a beam. No, because it's a cone. Same with this one. It's long range. There's no reason to reach it because long is the maximum. There's no way to do that. This one here now can go from 6 to 7. 7 to 8. 8 to 9. 9 to 10. It's a beam, so no. Medium range, 10 to 11. It's a beam, so no. Cone, so no. 11 to 12. So you could actually have 12 spells that have a DC bonus if you went reach. Just so we're clear, if you went with the spells that I picked. That's a decent number. It's probably because I changed stuff up at the last second. But normally it was 10. But that's still, and that's just the ones with the DC check. That doesn't include ones that you can, again, like you can reach Shocking Grasp and therefore have it at 2 different levels of casting, level 1 and level 2. Is that worth doing? Hell yes it is. Same with anything else that you can meta magic. I will literally go through my book, just like I did for level 1, and make every possible permutation of meta magic here. Because when you finally are done with it all, doesn't mean you have to use it, but it's there and I have the option. That's all I wanted to say, guys. I know this has been a long video, but I covered everything I wanted to cover. With that, though, my name's Brothermutant. Please like, subscribe, comment down below. Thanks again, guys, for subscribing. 150 people. That's amazing to me. Many more to come, I'm sure, and many more videos to come as well. But with that, I'll see you guys soon. Bye now.